If you're doing analysis of GIS data in ArcGIS Pro, one place you'll spend a lot of time is in the geoprocessing pane. And the reason you'll spend time here is the geoprocessing pane contains a lot of toolboxes, which are shown by this icon here. And if you were to expand any of these toolboxes, inside would be a lot of tool sets and tools that you can use to do different sorts of spatial analysis on GIS data. So they're all organized in here, and they really extend the functionality of the GUI, or well beyond the GUI, and allow you to do a lot of analytical capabilities within ArcGIS Pro. So let's look at one specific example here. This is one of the geoprocessing tools, and it's called Buffer. And the first thing, if we want to get back to the toolbox, we could press the back button here, or if we wanted to see what our menu of options were, we could press this, these three lines over here. There's parameters and environments here. Sometimes for environments, this might be where we store temporary files or other things like that, but you'll sometimes need to go in there, but not all the time. This question mark will give you help on this particular tool if you need it. In this case, the input feature, the thing that you're going to buffer or put kind of like a line around the edge of, is the roads. So you can select this by the drop-down menu. It will show you what layers you already have on your map. If you don't already have it in your map, you'll probably want to add it to your map before you do this sort of analysis. And then you're actually making a new layer using this buffer tool. So that's going to go into a new GIS layer that in this case is called Road Buff 300 because we're buffering our roads by 300 meters, as we can see down here. And we might be able to, we could use this if we had a particular place we wanted to put our data. And I would say that this is really key because you want to know where your data is going because you're going to need to use this data in the future. And here's where we do our different settings. We could change this from 300 to 200 or 100 if we wanted to, but these are all things that we would just simply type in. If we get a little yellow triangle with an exclamation point in it, that means there's some sort of warning associated with doing this. And if we click on this, it will give us a warning message and hopefully tell us what might go wrong if we don't change something here. If we get a red circle with an X in it, then that's a bigger problem. That means there's an error and we have to correct that error before we're able to run it. But this kind of tells us about the type of buffer we're using here. And then once we get everything set properly, we would press this little blue run button down here in order to run the tool. It would generate an entirely new GIS layer called Road Buff 300, and it would put it into our map. This is another example of a tool. This one's called Summary Statistics. And this is going to calculate statistics from an attribute table. And in this case, we would choose what sort of table we're going to use here, and then the output table that we're going to put this to. So just like with the GIS layers, we have an input here and an output here, and then we want to summarize on some of these fields here, which are listed here, and the type of statistic that we want to get out of it. The sum of all of those populations, the minimum population, the maximum population, and the mean. So this is actually going to create a new table. We can work with both tables and GIS layers using these tools in our toolbox and or using in the toolboxes and in the geoprocessing tools. Here's another example here where we're using this geoprocessing tool to select layer by attributes. So typically we might select three different polygons. We can just do this on the map. We can just draw a little box in here, and whatever is partially inside that box, it'll just select those polygons for us. But other times we might want to select polygons based on something in the attribute table instead of just where it is on the map. So in this example over here with this select layer by attribute tool, we're saying we want to select counties. We want to make a new selection. We want new ones highlighted in blue. And we want to select all the ones that have a population as measured in 2014 that's greater than 100,000 people. And once we did this, then we would have a new set of states selected, or counties within these states selected, and it would only be selecting the counties that have a population of greater than 100,000.